afternoon and welcome to Ye Olde Bell Hotel. I'm your host for this evening, Wayne Truman, and I'm going to be taking you around the Bell. They call it the Tudor Bar. It's not really Tudor, it's not that old at all, but it has some good stories and a particular ghost that I can actually introduce you to today. Follow me.
So this is the Tudor Bar. I mean, check out the architecture, check out the beams. You can smell the history of this building. That was me, given to a chair. I mean, even the windows, the bar. There's even a lovely pumpkin ready for Halloween. I mean, check this out. Absolutely bloody fantastic. Now, this is my kind of bar where you can sit here with a nice frosty brew, telling ghost stories, especially if the ghost stories are in the building you sat in.
And welcome to Stories and Tales of the Old Tudor Bar at the Bell Hotel. Now, a lot of people call it the Tudor Bar, but it's not actually Tudor at all. It was a lot later than that. In fact, the whole bell from the outside, you'll probably see, it looks Tudor, but it isn't. It was originally a fully brick-faced building, and the Tudor stuff was added a lot later on. But more about where we are right now. A lot of people claim it's not haunted, but it is. I have a photograph of her, and we also have her on a painting, which I will show you in a moment, because she's just over there. And we've been graced with her presence so many times, I would be a liar to say I didn't believe that she was here. Now, why is she here? She's not haunting it because she died here. She's not haunted because she was murdered here. There's no grisly tale. In fact, it's a beautiful tale. She's here because she loves the place. Back in days of old, when this was a fully functional room, as it is now, they have reopened it, used to be a gentleman's lounge, no women allowed. It was the perfect place to be if you were a man. No women at all. No stress, no drama, no nagging, no nothing. The hierarchy of Derby used to come in. The mayor of Derby used to drink in here. The guy that used to run Rolls-Royce used to drink here. Barristers, judges, jurors, they all came here, and that's what we used to drink. Again, I have a picture of all them doing just that. And it was allowed one woman, and her name was Alice. No, we won't go there. But her name was Alice anyway. She ruled this room with an iron tray, a red iron tray to be more specific. It doesn't matter if you were the mayor of Derby or you were a leading barrister. If you misbehaved in any shape, form or way, she would come behind you and clout you round the head with her iron tray. This was her roost. She was in charge here. They called her the Iron Lady. And we believe she comes here still, not because of torture, not because of a traumatic death, but because she just simply loved it. And she's here in visitation. She's not here all the time. She comes as and when she pleases. When she did pass, it was only in the 60s, if I remember rightly. Richard Felix might correct me on that one, but I'm pretty sure she died in the 60s. And she died a peaceful, normal, natural death, if there is such a thing as a nice death. But she comes here in visitation. And as I say, we have spoke to her, if you believe in that sort of thing, through Ouija boards, seances and such, and she's very kindly come forward. In fact, she's told me a lot to do with this building. A lot of people think it's just haunted by the serving maid. Now, everybody knows the classic story of the serving maid of the Bell Hotel. She haunts room 29 upstairs on the top floor. But there are many more ghosts here. In fact, I will go so far to say there are 13 ghosts in this particular building. They vary from different time periods, from the serving maid to children to landlords. Alice herself obviously is one of them, and many, many, many more. Again, we have experienced quite a few things here. The serving maid, let's start with the serving maid. The serving maid is claimed to have been murdered, and that's why she haunts this place. The first time she was recorded to be being seen was by a very old landlord many years ago that used to use room 29 as his nursery for his kids. He walked into the room, and when he opened the door, he saw the apparition of a woman leaning over his child's crib. He rushed into the room, leant through the apparition and picked his child up and left the room. Personally, I would have left the building, not just the room, but he just left the room and continued to live here. And she has been seen and heard by many different psychics and mediums throughout the years. But on several occasions we've had psychics and mediums come in and they've all said the same thing. It's all very well concentrating on the serving maid, but you need to be concentrating more on the room next door. Because apparently in the room next door there is a gentleman, a dark gentleman of sinister character that lurks in that room. We've told these stories for the best part of 30 to 35 years, and I have done a bit of homework. I've done a lot of networking around the buildings here. And there's a particular building not far from us called The Hideout. It used to be called Walkabout, and they have exactly the same ghost in their building. Describes, again, a tall gentleman wearing black, seen to be brandishing something that looks like a knife. The same ghost that's seen in here. I believe that he used to live in that building and come drinking in this building. I also believe that he had some kind of something to do with the serving maid, whether it be a passing glance and these two became sexually attracted to one another, maybe the L word came into it. I think she was impregnated by him. And back then, if you were a guy of stature, you couldn't be seen to be mixing with the lower class or the working class, especially serving maids and such like. So there was one way out for him. He had to kill them both. That's why she died. That's why the spirit of her unborn child is upstairs as well. But why is he here? I believe he didn't want to kill her and that he's tormented because he actually had feelings for her. And the reason he's back here and the reason why he's seen as a dark demeanour is not just because he's a murderer, but because he's stuck in purgatory because he doesn't like what he'd done at all. He feels guilt about the things that he's done. And it's very interesting because this person that I've brought all these stories and put them together, and it makes a lot of sense. It's not just a random ghost in a room anymore. It tells a story. So here we are with the actual painting that was done of the Tudor bars. You can check even the lights are exactly the same as they were. And here we have the hierarchy at Derby with the mayor and the guy that ran Rolls Royce. And of course, as the story says, one lady in the room, and there she is. There's Alice, looking beautiful and holding the red tray. So there she is. So actual evidence of who the person is. It's not just a woman. She's Alice and she haunts this place to this very day. In fact, we think she's here right now. Okay, light's gone off. Not quite sure what happened there. Hang on a minute.
You can try around my face.
Hey Neil, what are you doing up there? Right? That's the second time, mate.
We mentioned her name. The lights all went out. Coincidence? Maybe. So if you're out this weekend and you're doing a bit of investigation, but you don't find any spirits, do what we do.
We're drinking instead.
Here, if you look just over here, there's a ghost in window.
I don't think it's a real ghost, Seth.
Hey, you little bugger, don't tell me what's a real ghost. Look at him, how spooky he is. You little daft pit.
So, just come out the old bell. Absolutely fantastic building. The history is fantastic. We're now at the Jorrocks. So we've just left the Jorrocks. We didn't have a drink in there for the simple fact that Rihanna was playing, and we can't handle that kind of shit, can we, Neil?
I like a bit of Rihanna, John.
Really?
Yeah.
Not for me, thank you. So we're here at the Cozy Club, and Wayne is it? In a yellow sausage roll. How about that?
Yellow pasty, John.
Yeah, yellow pasty, sausage roll, it's the same thing,
Okay,
eh?
John.
What is it, eh?
No, I've got chicken tikka fillet and a sausage roll, yeah.
Use the stairs when you've got a lift.
It's only one floor, Jack.
I know, but still, I want to use the lift.
So we're at a third stop, the Cozy Club, and our orange here is going to do another little paranormal ale on a beer. It's just purchased from the bar. Have some of that.
I've heard of it before. It's an Italian beer, 4.8%. I'll tell you what, it's a really nice drink, cracking actually. And it's got fruity undertones. And I'm not about Fergal Sharky, right? But I'm going to give this a 4.6 out of 5 on the old paranormal ale scale. Because I'll tell you what, it's a nice crisp, smooth taste, and I love it.
Here we are in the Cozy Club, we're having a few beers with the lads, but while we're here, why not give it a little bit of history, eh? Now this place was originally built as one of Derby's original prisons, not a jail, but a prison. And it was a horrible prison at that. A lot of people that were incarcerated here died due to the health and hygiene standards, mainly in the lower cells, because on the street outside, what you can't see under the ground is a river. There's a river that links Derby all the way from the River Derwent here to Markeaton Brook. And that was also used as a sewage system. So when the river ran high, the prison cells here used to fill full of water. And obviously not just water, yellowy brown water, and maybe the occasional little brown shark flying around. So if you didn't drown in your cell, you would definitely pick up some kind of jail fever, stench fever, whatever it would, and you'd die from some kind of disease. Later on, they did actually turn this into Derby's first major hotel. It was the Royal Hotel, and not many stories about it, apart from it did house a murderer for a short period of time. And the murderer's name, Gerard Mannering was his name. He was a rich family member. His family owned stately homes, lands and businesses. And when his father died, he took over the business and became like one of the richest people in the area. And he came to Derby and spent 6 nights here. But on the 6th night here, he actually met up with a local prostitute by the name of Annie Green. Annie Green was from a place that we call Matalan now, down the road, but it used to be a brothel. It's a pretty woman's story where he wanted her services, but they actually became quite fond of each other. Cut a long story short, he bought a gun while he was in Derby, and 500 rounds of bullets. On one particular night, he took Annie Green out, they parted, and in the next morning they stole a horse and carriage and rode through the streets of Derby like joyriders. The police did chase them down, took them back to the police station, which is located literally just outside here. And then from there they incarcerated her and treated her really badly, but Gerard Manley didn't like the way they were treating her, so he basically fired off shots in the police station, and he actually killed a certain police officer by the name of P.C. Moss. And he was the first and only copper that died in the line of duty while in a police station. So the story of this place, it's a lot of death and a little bit of murder and a lot of drinking now. Cheers.
Well, I bet that you look over the dance floor. Know if you're looking for romance or know what you're looking for.
Keep shagging on the bathroom floor. I could forget that I had given her an extra cane. All this time she was standing there, she never took her eyes off me. I want the woman next person to your fella. Christmas on the week, that's why you're clinging to your fella. You better watch your back before she's turned into a killer. This is you're the situation that you contemplate.
Anyway, this is our last stop. One of my favourite places, probably the favourite place of mine. Cafe of the Metro in Bilston. ABK in a proper glass, but a cracking day. Pilsner's going in my eyes. ABK. God bless you all.
Because I can't remember right now. What's his name? Gerard Mannering was his name.
We're having.
I'm going to have a Henry Weston cider.
Okay.
5.2%, and it's, you can't beat it really.
No, you can't.
But there's one thing that wouldn't work here. The lid
Why?
takes ages. It takes ages.
So, if you're out this weekend and you're doing some investigating, but you don't find any spirits, do what we do.
We drink them instead.
Here's to us, chap.
It's something completely separate. I'm drinking a cider. Henry Weston's vintage, 5.2%. And I tell you what, it really sends you on the way. Citra, Cafe Metro, fan bloody tastic.